So one of my heroes, Alec Ferguson, who was Manchester United manager, he once said, where there's doubt, there's no doubt. Going back to what was the answer to the question, if you're doubting a promoter, pull out. Just pull out. You're doubting them for a reason. Pull out. Yeah. Your gut's massive, and it's usually right.
I don't know if it's undefeated, but my gut has a great batting average.
Oh, yeah. Your gut gets better as you get older. It gets bigger as well.
Yeah.
but it gets better for sure.
Today on Loves Music, I'm joined by Dean Ashton of the High Nines. The High Nines are a British rock group very similar to 90s alternative with a hint of grunge, a hint of rock, a hint of Britpop. I mean, there's nothing this band can't do. I thoroughly enjoyed their self-titled LP, The High Nines. Dean and I got into talking about managing this kind of sophisticated landscape where we're trying to merge art and promotion and still remain genuine and authentic. He was insightful as he was hilarious, and I enjoyed my time. I hope you will too. Up next, Dean Ashton of the High Nines. Man, I am overjoyed to have Dean Ashton of the High Nines on Loves Music today. Dean, thank you so much for joining us all the way from across the Atlantic.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Yeah. So, well, I know that you are promoting a new album. I mean, that was kind of the basis for the call, but you guys have been in the game forever. But let's start with the new project, man. What's it called?
Okay, so the new album is self-titled. And the truth be told, we just couldn't think of anything that sounded remotely cool. So the High Nines.
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah. And it sort of works because it's sort of everything we've built towards to this point, and it's sort of us going, this is us, this is our sound, this is what we are.
Yeah. So the band is there's you and your songwriter Steve, is that correct?
Yeah.
Right.
Well, there's five of us. But yeah.
Okay. So you kind of lean into the you lean into the Oasis comparisons a little bit. I hear it a little bit, but I think you guys are doing your own thing, man. Like I think you guys are you guys do those like mid-tempo rock songs, like just as good as those other bands like in the 90s, but from here. Like I listen to like the Pixies, Garbage, and I was like, they got this like 90s, like just like cool, accessible, like just gourmet rock music thing going, man. And I love it.
Thank you. I always find this sort of interesting because I hate if you sort of give yourself a genre, then you pigeonhole yourself, and then you're limiting your audience. Now we rewrite songs that could be classed as. I mean, one of my favorite bands, Joy Division, which is as dark as it comes. The dude was literally writing about wanting to end his own life, So, and that's one of my favorite bands. But the irony, I'm wearing a Stone Roses t-shirt, but we've been compared to the Stone Roses quite a lot. Right. Oasis quite a lot, Kasabian. So I suppose we've put those references online just to let people know, hey, this is what we sound like. But at the same time, I don't really care. As long as people pick up the music and listen to it, call us whatever you want, And I'm sure, we have been writing. We've got a catalogue way back somewhere that's 300, 400 songs. There's literally that many. We're talking about album 3 as we speak now. Wow. We've done one. So and that will morph, and we're sort of, what we're learning to do is sort of pigeonhole the different sounds and go, right, well, that's for that album, that's for that album, that's for that album. It's a tricky one, that. Yeah,
well, you guys have mastered that different but cohesive, like on the project, you had the album comes on hard, right? Let the World Decide hits you in the mouth. You're like, this is a serious project. I think Daydreaming's the hit, and when I say hit, I mean I hear it everywhere. Like Daydreaming, I could hear it in the supermarket. I could hear my mom playing it. I could hear my boys playing it. I could hear it in a movie. I hear it during the credit scene. I hear it in a rom-com. Like it just fits I hear black dudes covering it, women covering it. It just has this like mass appeal. Yeah. So it kind of stands out as the hit, but the album cohesively, Let the World Decide, The People You Love, awesome song.
Yeah.
I think The People You Love is incredible. Like Robbie Williams could chart with that song. You know what I mean? Like if you guys are going to part with it, and so like it's so good. You guys will probably chart with it, but it's yeah, it's so good.
Ironically, we did chart with Walrus Bar. That got to top 6 in the iTunes alternative chart, which was massive for us as a little independent band. And everything we've done ourselves. We've had no funding, no help, no support from the recording, the production. has been us. It's all the band. So hearing things like that, I think it means more when you've done it all yourself as well.
Absolutely.
And going back to your points about, so Let the World Decide has been around since, and Steve wrote Let the World Decide, and it was way back when myself and Steve were in a covers band together, and the covers band was no more, and we sort of sat there and went, what do we do now? And Steve said, well, I've been writing for quite some time, and I've got these songs. And he showed me 2 songs, Let the World Decide and a song called Your Love Will Bring Me Down. Now, Your Love Will Bring Me Down will feature on an album because it is a banger. But he said, Let the World Decide. As soon as I heard that, I'd heard maybe 5 seconds of it, and you'll know because the drum beat comes in. I was sold straight away. It was just me all over. And he said, I think if we get you singing on these we could do something with this. So Let the World Decide's always got a special place in my heart. And when we play it live, that's a bit of me. That's where I'm at. Daydreaming, though, Daydreaming is quite commercial. Daydreaming is one of them where probably as commercial as we would like to be. And I don't even know what I mean by commercial, but listen to the song and you'd understand that. But I love it. It's really catchy. It's my wife's favourite song.
Right.
And she's not a muso person, let me tell you. So if she sings, all right. It's all right. Well,
that's how you know what a hit is. Like I say, like I'm a sports fan, but you're not a superstar unless my mom knows who you are. You know what I mean? Like I know who Shane Gilgeous-Alexander is. Like he won the MVP last year.
Yeah.
My mom knows who Steph Curry is. Like that's a superstar.
Yeah, it is one of those songs that sort of gets stuck in your head, and that's one thing that I always think about when you're onto something with a good song is everyone in the band or people go, I've heard this before. I'm sure I've heard this before. And sometimes that can be a bad thing because you literally find the song that it sounds like and go, oh, I've just copied another song. Whereas, whereas sometimes that can be subliminal and you're like, no, I haven't heard this before. It's just really catchy and I'm picking it up. So yeah, Daydreaming definitely fell into that category. It was like an immediate, we're on something.
Yeah, like I caught myself humming it. I think since you booked this session a week ago, like I've been just kind of listening to the album on shuffle. I probably hummed that tune inadvertently 2 or 3 times. Just humming this like random tune I heard from a guy over in the UK. Like this wild,
I love that. Yeah. Love that.
Yeah, that's what made me think. I'm like, I think this is the one, But I mean, it's all but the influences are all over the place, man. Like who are the muses informing your like creative direction? Like either the people you grew up with or the bands that you listen to more regularly. Like who's kind of like influencing your sound?
Everything is the short answer to that. Absolutely everything, from really bad experience in your life to good experiences to, and then music. I mean, I didn't grow up in a musical family, not at all. We had a little LP player and we had Rocking All Over the World was something we had. We had Rod Stewart's album on tape. And Madonna, and Madonna's. That was it. That was all we had. We didn't have loads of money where we could so we'd go on long car journeys in the UK is about an hour, and we'd go on that journey, and that was Michael Jackson was the other one. Yeah, and that was it. They were the tapes that my dad had, so that was in the car. That was it. So my musical sort of thing was a self journey, if you will. That was not something that was ingrained into me. Football was, or soccer, which pains me to say. But, football was, but music wasn't. So for me personally, I found music. And I remember the first time I heard, and it was Oasis. And I make no excuses for that. There's a lot of things, and I'll go into this, I'm sure, but there's a lot of people who go, if you're from Manchester, you can't possibly say you like Oasis or you're influenced by Oasis. I don't buy into that. I'm not bothered. Yeah. I'm massively influenced by Oasis. And the first single I went out and bought with my own money at the supermarket was Oasis, Do You Know What I Mean? And it was a single. I've still got it to this day. But that was the moment when I sort of went, oh, what's this? This is this music stuff, is it?
And how old were you?
Maybe 11, something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, something like that. Because, I hear lots of these and I watch lots of podcasts and things and interviews, and you hear people saying things like, oh, yeah, my dad was a musician, or my mum was, and they had music on constantly. It was a musical household. Mine wasn't. It really wasn't. It was very sport-orientated, which I was. I play sport. I like sport. I love sport. And that made it more special for me, I think, and does make it more special for me because music's mine. Yeah. It wasn't something that somebody taught me how to do. My dad taught me how to play football, all the sort of things that you go to school and you're taught, but music was never taught really. It was just something that was mine and still is.
Yeah. So take me to that moment. So you knew that there was something in you, right? You're 11 years old. Everybody's playing sports. You hear these songs and you're like, okay, was it like a lightning bolt moment when you're like, I hear it, this means that I'm different? Or was it more like a gradual progression where you're like, I'm really starting to get into this thing and it feels like I might have another interest outside of football? Like, was it gradual, or was it like you heard it and you were like, oh, this is different. Like my life's different now.
It's a good question. And I'm trying to go back to that. All I can describe it as is a feeling. And I get, listen, I'm not afraid to say it. There's sometimes I listen to a piece of music, genuinely will start crying. Mm-hmm. And I'm all right saying that. That's fine by me. And Joy Division had that impact on me without question. That Oasis definitely did. It was just a feeling where I thought, what is this? It was just sheer power and energy and noise, and it was just like, what is this? Like, I need to be involved with whatever this is. Right. But then my musical journey, actually getting involved in music, started much later. I was well into my 20s.
Okay, so that makes sense. So it's weird because like most people, my dad was in a band. So music would just seem common to me. He played in the church band. My mom played his music in the car all the time. So I was just always around it. And it took me becoming a teenager and having my own music to be like, all right, that's my music, not my parents' music. You know what I mean? And it was like as opposite as it can be. It's like my dad's playing Christian music and R&B, and then I heard gangster rap, and I'm like, that's it. What's happening right now to my ears? Like,
yeah, same. I mean, look, in the 90s, who wasn't influenced by rap? You know, I remember 50 Cent's first album came out, and I had that on repeat. I mean, I still play it to this day. You know, it's one of the best albums of all time. And, you know, I remember listening I remember going, school sent us on a German exchange. So you live with a German family for a week. I mean, I came home and I think my mum said I was like 2 stone. I looked like a prisoner of war. Because I weren't eating any of that German madness. No, I remember a white sausage being put in front of me, and I prodded it with my fork and that's not for me. Yeah. So I came home and I had a tape, and it was the Marshall Mathers LP. And this German dude's dad had sent me away with it and said, you must listen to this. So I went home, put it in, mind blown. What is this? So that was another moment where I was like, wow, this is beyond anything I've ever listened to in my life. Like, and that was sort of when I started getting into rap and stuff. But my influences are massive. You know, I mean, the lads will destroy me in the band for this, but I even listen to like grime, which is sort of a UK.
Yeah, is that like Dizzy Rascal and like that kind of?
Yeah, I mean, he was one of the sort of founders, if you will, of grime. But I listen to that. I literally listen to anything. Pop, not as much, but anything. Yeah. I mean, I've gone into a massive spiral of Ozzy at the minute. Well, obviously with Ozzy's passing and getting into that again, and just absolutely. In terms of going back to the original question, because I do this spiral, you know, just. Everything, good and bad, music, TV, everything.
And what's cool about your thing is I think because it is everything and it's informed by not just music, but environment, experience, like just the human experience in its totality, your music is timeless. So you're putting out records that you guys recorded 10, 12 years ago, and you're putting them on the album. And I was like, this sounds like modern day alternative. It just sounds like a song on the radio. Yeah, which is, you know, Yeah, whereas like you'll hear like say like EDM, right? Those synth sounds after like 8 months they might not sound current. You're like, oh, this sounds like 2013 electronic music. This sounds like 2008. Like you have this timeless sound. So when I'm comparing it to things like I'm like, this can sound like Arctic Monkeys who are out now, and they have songs that sound like U2 from 30 years ago. U2, you know what I mean? Like,
the good U2.
like pre-Joshua Tree U2.
Yeah. And another thing, I suppose, the way that what music allows you to do, which I feel is, it allows you to sort of talk about your feelings, talk about the way you see the world and the way you're processing things and processing the world. And you don't necessarily have to tell people that then. Don't get me wrong, I'm a big advocate for talking. I'm an open book. I talk about my feelings all the time. I'm cool with that. And I'm not an advocate for not talking about your feelings. But at the same time, music helps you to do that. So people say to me, for songs that I've personally written, we'll go on to the songwriting process with the band, but songs that I've personally, what was that about? Is that about such a thing? And I'm like, it might be. And I never give that away. And I think that's important. Like, I don't, if somebody picks it up and goes and sort of says to themselves, I relate to that and that's a situation that I've been in, great. Well, you own that then and you take that and that can be your song. Whereas if I tell them what it's about, it's not, it's mine, and it's not, it's everybody's because it's out there, you know?
Oh, okay. Is that something that you're doing for your audience so they can have their own interpretation? Or is that something you're doing to kind of keep a sense of like anonymity to the music?
Bit of both, and there's probably a double sort of edged answer to this. So we don't do anything for the audience. And we've learned that because the more you try and do things for the art, you force it. You have to look, as long as the five of us can sit there and say, good song, Matt, that'll do for us. That's enough. And if it doesn't go well, it doesn't go well, but we think it is. And I'm all right with that. Whereas if you try to pander too much towards this pigeonhole, this genre that you are, at that point, you're chasing it, and chasing it never works. But in terms of the anonymity, nearly, thing, yeah, I suppose there are things that I know my own personal lyrics are about. People around me know what that means. But the wider audience, I might share some of it, but I might choose not to as well. And I do think that the more you share about it, like I say, that people can't own it as much then, because they might listen to the words and think that means that to me. So that's what I'd rather them do, if that makes sense.
It does make sense. Especially because you guys write really good pop songs. I don't mean pop as in pop music. I mean like incredible hooks. Like your choruses are like chanty and like anthemy, you know? So when you have 10,000 people singing the same lyric, it's good that 10,000 people can have a similar meaning instead of being like, I know Dean wrote that about Katie. You know, it's like now they can like own it, you know? Yeah,
nobody's bothered about me. Let's have it right. You know, nobody gives a damn about me. They give it and good. Don't listen, listen to that song and think, I remember that time in my life and that takes me back to that and it helps me process that or whatever. It takes me back to that time and it makes me happy, whatever. And I'd rather that than us come out and say, this song's about this. So when we're on stage, I will never turn around and say, right, this song's written about this. Nah, not for me.
Nah. Yeah, I like that. Okay. Cool, man. So, well, you guys, you have Steve who does a majority of the writing. I want to make sure I get this correct.
Yeah, Steve does the vast majority of the writing. Yeah.
Okay. And how does that work back and forth with you being like the lead singer? He comes with an idea. He comes with kind of the skeleton of the idea, and you kind of collaborate. The song comes fully finished. Yeah.
It pains me to say this, but Steve is a genius. He really is.
I don't doubt it. Yeah.
There's no question. He really is. He not only does he does all the production, all the recording, then the only thing he doesn't do is the mastering. We send that off to master, but everything you listen to, Steve does. It's incredible. Don't get me wrong, the lads play on it. The lads will turn up and do the bits. But the way it's been working this time around, because Steve's got a studio in his house, Steve will put a demo together and sort of ping it to us. And the beauty of it this time around, because we did have a little bit of a hiatus, and the beauty of us this time, egos are firmly on the shelf and they need to be. So if a song comes over, I'll ping one over, Steve will send one over, whoever, Pete, everyone will ping one over, and it will either be or it will be, that's absolutely incredible, we need to carry on working at that.
Nice.
And then it becomes, so tomorrow I'm going up to Steve's, we've got some ideas in the pipeline, we'll sit down, we'll finalise them, get the structure in place, and then Steve will put a rough demo together that he will sing on, and then I can go and put my vocals on, and then the lads can do their parts. So it works really, really well. And like I say, any band that I can give any advice to is just be able to be brutally honest with one another without taking it personally, because if you can do that, good music will come out of it. And if you can't do that, what's the point? Because realistically, you're only doing it to appease someone else, Right. Why do that? Because that's not going to work. If it's not good enough, it's not good enough. It's not a personal attack. It's just not good enough. And that's where we've got to. We've got to a really good point at the minute where it's like, no, not quite. Yes, that's good. That's not. So yeah, it works really, really well. But Steve, like I say, Steve does the vast majority, and then I would say, I pitch in. So on the album, I wrote two of them. I wrote one called Heart of Stone, and I wrote I Can't Find My Way. Nearly forgot it then. Steve pretty much predominantly wrote the rest. Pete had a big say in it, don't get me wrong, and then Trev did a lot of the licks and the riffs and whatnot, and Lee on the drums. Nice. And album 2, because Pete joined the band sort of part way through the writing process for album 1. So album 2, Pete has probably wrote 3 or 4 songs that are going to go on the album. I've probably wrote 1 or 2, and Steve's wrote the rest. So it's a nice collaborative approach. It works really well.
Right. And I think it makes for good cohesion on the album. You know, like if, you know, you figure 5 guys, like everybody gets 2 songs. Now we got 10 songs from 5 different people. And I'm not saying that doesn't work, but it's like, it starts to sound like a collection of songs instead of like one cohesive piece of art, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you've touched on this, because that was one thing that we were guilty of. Like I say, this band started in 2011. We did a couple of years, did very well actually, and then it split up for 8 years, and we didn't speak for 8 years. We were at loggerheads for 8 years. We don't actually know why. We got back together now, and it's going really well. But it's what we've come to the understanding of this time is, and we're all pretty much on board with, the buck stops with Steve, and Steve makes a final decision. And I'm all right with that, because I think in years gone by, it was me and Steve make the final decision. And that's never, you can't have 2 people making the decision. It just doesn't work. Yeah. You know, I mean, look at the British government. You
can have 2 captains on a boat, yeah.
It just doesn't work, you know. So we'll all, it's all very democratic, and we'll all have discussions and whatnot. But the bottom line will be, because otherwise we would write a song from now until the end of time, and we'll be making adjustments and amendments. Whereas Steve will go, right, we're done now, lads. Stop, move on, and we need that. We're all aware of that, so it works well.
Yeah, you had a great statement earlier too, and I'm glad we didn't gloss over it. You kind of came back to it, but you said you put your egos on the shelf. I think that's something that comes with maturity, right? Could you speak to the difference between your mindset now and your ability to collaborate versus maybe, you said about 8 years, so this would be maybe like 9-10 years ago prior to trying to collaborate, and your mindset then, when you're either, would you say, for instance, you were more sensitive, you took things more personal, or what was just the difference? I'm just giving examples, but like, why is now collaborating so effective versus 10 years ago?
I think I've learned to not sweat the small stuff. Like, the question I ask myself in most walks of life is this really the hill you want to die on? You know, is it that important? Like, you know, does it matter that I think there should be one extra note in that chorus? No. Right. You know, does it? Whereas in the past, I would have stood, no, that's what I think it should be. You know, and not only that, I think looking back from a personal point of view, when I first got in the High Nines, I had these, because I was a big Oasis fan, I had these preconceived ideas of what a frontman should be and should look like, which was basically just a fucking idiot, you know, just.
What do you mean?
Yeah,
like details wise,
all the time, being smashed on stage, not giving a damn about what anyone thought. I mean, there was one gig that I particularly remember where I'm swinging my microphone around and I just threw it in the crowd, like, "What are you doing? I've got to get that back now."
Somebody run that back up. Now give it back.
He went from being super, come on to being, mate, we just, sorry, no, just, it's ridiculous.
I'll turn that mic back up.
There were so many times, and we all fell into this trap. I mean, there was another one where T-Bone in the band, he drank a full bottle of sherry before going on stage and he's the lead guitarist. He did the whole gig on his knees like Slash.
Wow.
So I think we've all learned. I mean, listen, you grow up, don't you? And I think now I'm doing the High Nines as a frontman, as I'm influenced by people, no question, but I'm doing it as me. I'm just me, you know. So whereas I used to probably, and I thought about this the other day, but I was thinking about certain things and, you know, trying to be open and honest as I can on this thing. And I thought about something about, I never used to smile on stage because I thought smiling was not something frontmen could do. Ridiculous, I know. I know. Because in my eyes, frontmen such as like Ian Brown, I'm talking about Manchester-based frontmen, Ian Brown from Stone Roses, Liam Gallagher, Morrissey of the Smiths, there's loads of different ones that I could go over. They don't smile. So in my mind, it was, I can't do that as a young kid. Now I'm thinking, I don't care. I'm having the time of my life up there. I'm smiling. I'm getting involved with people. And now it's I'm a much different frontman. I've still got the attitude and all that sort of stuff. You know, I'm still going to give you a show. I'm going to give you what you paid to come and see. But at the same time, I'm having a good time. And I want everyone to know about it, you know?
Yeah. Well, I think there's an element, even though it's art, there's an element of being a professional. You know, like once you go from like playing around with your friends in the garage and now people are investing their time and effort to come out and see you. You know what I
That's a
mean?
big
It's
one
like,
this
yeah,
time round.
you're a pro now, you know?
Well, that's a big one this time round. So again, one thing that we've banned before all gigs now is drink. None of us drink before going on stage. Not even one for Dutch Courage. We just don't do it. And it makes for much. In fact, it's quite nice to hear because we all like to be told nice things. And Steve's wife came over after one of the previous gigs and said, "That's the best I've ever heard you in 10 plus years of hearing you. That is the best I've ever heard you." And there's no secret. Don't get drunk before you go on stage. Be professional about it. And you know what? Recognize as well that people are paying for a service. People are paying to watch you. So when I'm at work, because I've got a job until you lot start buying records, but when I'm at work, people are paying for the service. So I don't drink on the job. I do a very, very good job, be as professional as I can possibly be, courteous and all that sort of stuff. People are paying to watch us. So the least we can do is give them a good show. Another thing that helps without question is having the finances to put on a good show, having decent instruments. I've just spent quite a bit of money on in-ear monitors so I could hear myself, on stage, which I would never dreamed of doing or had the finances to do. And listen, I'm not saying I'm a multimillionaire. I'm nowhere near that. But there's a lot of things at play. But you as a person can certainly help that along by the very least doing the right things, and
Yeah. Well, even too, like the myth that like the alcohol is going to help with nerves and, kind of like make you be yourself. I always thought that was a myth. Here's the thing. The more I rehearse and the more prepared I am, the less nervous I am.
Precisely.
Period.
Precisely.
Like I've done that. Like I had more of like a hip hop question and answer show, so it was a little bit easier for me to be like, okay, I'm nervous. I'm going to tie one on. And then I can like stumble through the melodic parts of my song and just get the crowd to participate. And I can throw a party. It might not have been a good show, but it was a decent party. You know what I mean? And then as I got older, the same thing. I'm like, this could actually be I had musicians that rehearsed. I got people that came to, like, what am I doing? What am I doing here? And then I did the same thing. I was like, I'm gonna stop boozing before shows.
Absolutely. That's something that, don't get me wrong, after shows, all bets are off. But certainly before, definitely not. And we rehearse. And one thing that we've got better at as well is transitions between songs. So, not just standing looking at each other going, "Oh, Steve's tuning his guitar. All right, well, okay. What we're going to do now?" So we've thought about that, and when it comes to gig time, we sort of do it from top to bottom, almost a dress rehearsal, if you will. So yeah, just caring a bit more, I suppose.
Yeah. It's like real stakes too. You're doing it for the love, but I think once you realize that like you have like legitimate potential, and you guys can still be huge. Like I hear the music, they sound like top 40 hit songs. You know what I mean? So when you're realizing what you have like kind of like in your basket is like something like really valuable, I think it kind of gives it kind of forces you to kind of give it the attention it deserves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm on the outside looking in. I'm not telling you guys what you think, but like that's what,
That's exactly what we think though. Yeah,
Okay.
I suppose one thing that I used to always say, I want to make it. What does make it mean?
Sure.
What does that mean? Does it mean going multi-platinum in the States? Well, yeah, probably. But at the same time, you can be a really niche local cult band. And there are a couple of them around my area where they fill out sort of, I suppose you would call them arena shows in Manchester. Yeah. They don't do very well anywhere else, but in Manchester they do really well. Sure. And they make a living out of it. Now, that for me would be, I've made it. That's incredible to think about something like that. So maybe I've redefined what making it is, and I'm not that bothered anyway, because the way I see this, and you touched on it earlier, is about legacy and stuff. My kids, and everyone else will be able, this music's never going anywhere. It's always there. So I don't really care that much anymore about making it. It's just about a creative outlet.
Yeah. Did you have that heightened sense of making it before, it's like the first incarnation of the band, 10, 12 years ago, everybody was we're going to be, multi. Yeah.
But I'm quite open, and I would, at the time, I wouldn't have told you that, but I definitely felt that way.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean I'm any less motivated this time round. Don't get me wrong. And we'll put the work in and do what we need to do. And if a label came around, and I'll touch on labels in a minute, but if an opportunity came our way, should I say, I will take it more seriously now than I did back then. But back then I had more ideas of grandeur with no clue about how to get there.
Absolutely. It's almost like it's like a blind, they talk about like the optimism arc, and you start out with blind optimism and you're like, our band's going to change the world. And then you have blind pessimism because you don't know anything. And you're like, oh, this is way harder. We're never going to make it.
Yeah.
And then you have informed pessimism and you're like, okay, I can kind of see how much work this takes. It's a lot of work, but I can kind of see the light at the end of the tunnel. And then you kind of level out and you're like, okay, now we're on the journey and we're like informed. We're professionals. Yeah.
And I think a more measured approach is always better in anything you do. When you're desperate, you never make good decisions, good emotional decisions, do you? When you're desperate to do something, you're in a deadline and you're doing it at 12
right, yeah, right.
It never works.
It just needs to an end, yeah. It's just that you're just trying to get across the finish line.
Yeah, and at the minute, the way we're doing this, and it's not, it won't. If we write our next song and it doesn't do very well, okay, whatever, won't kill me, won't change. So I appreciate soccer isn't huge in the States, but I'm a Manchester United fan for my sins. I'm a Manchester United fan. And Ruben Amorim, the manager, came out and said something, and it didn't go down very well. But for me, I was like, yeah, fair play. And he said, what will happen if you lose your job? And he said, right, well, my life won't end, will it? He didn't. I'm paraphrasing, but he sort of said, well, my life goes on, doesn't it? There's more to life than that, and that's the way I feel about this. But at the same time, look. Don't get me wrong. If we could play Wembley next year, I will be at Wembley. Don't you worry about that. Yeah. So, but we're doing it from a more level-headed, in every single walk of life. We're all settled in our relationships and our lives, and it helps you to write. But at the same time, because none of us were born with a silver spoon in our mouth. We came from things and we've experienced things that now we write about. And one thing that's interesting about bands that we touched on U2 and stuff, I think bands do at that point where we're millionaires now. What do we write about? Mm-hmm. There's loads of them we could always talk about. There's millions of bands out there that have done this. So that's interesting. What happens when you get there? Because at the minute, there's no question. We touched on our influences earlier. What do we write about? Well, most of it's about stuff that's either going on or happened. So it's going to be an interesting arc to see. But as far as we're concerned, this goes on forever. So
yeah. Well, that's why people have these amazing debut albums. You write your first album at 25. You have 25 years of life to write about.
Yeah.
And then they're like, great, album did well. We need another album in 9 months. Mm-hmm. You're like, all I did in 9 months was sit on a tour bus and play shows.
Yeah.
I don't have anything else to write about.
And that's what I'm saying about labels. So this time round, don't get me wrong, we're open to everything. But this time round, we won't be doing anything that doesn't work for the band. Whereas when you're a young kid, a promoter comes over to you and says, I can put you on at this place. And you think, wow, that's an incredible show. Yeah, you've got to sell 250 tickets. I'm probably over-egging that. But then you've got to go out and beg, steal and borrow from everyone you know. And in reality, you're playing to the people who would pick up your music because they're your friends anyway.
Right.
And then labels, you can come and do this, but we want X out of you and we want the rights to this. For us, everything now is we sort of we would rush into decisions like that back in the day, whereas now we think about absolutely everything. So if it works for us, great. If it doesn't, then it absolutely doesn't. So for us, I would much prefer to do main support slots than headline shows, for sure. And the reason for that is, what's the point at our stage in where we are as a band in playing in front of your own people? I can do that every week. My friends will get sick of it when I keep asking them, do you want to pay a ticket?
Now you're that guy. Want to see my band? Want to see my band? We all know that guy.
We all know that guy. So, if you main support, then two bands can collaboratively share audiences. They'll as long as you put you're creative and clever about the shows you put on. I'm not going to put a heavy metal band on with us, but that's what it's about. And I think musicians need to collaborate a little bit more in that respect and get together. And without upsetting any promoters, do we really need promoters?
Right?
Do we need promoters? We don't do it.
Not with the technology now.
We've got two bands here. We guarantee to sell this many tickets. We guarantee to do X, Y, and Z, and keep the creative people involved in that process.
I mean, if you have savvy marketers on your team, or whatever the right what the right term is. I mean, we're all personable people, and I mean, the way you can harness the technology now, you can put people in buildings,
Yeah, I mean, we work with promoters. Don't get me wrong. We work with promoters who we trust and know.
Sure.
But there are others out there that we've done gigs before where you think, what have they actually done to promote this gig other than put it on? And they've done not a lot. So, well, we can do that on our own. And you're getting, let's say you sell 100 tickets, 150 tickets, and you're getting, a promoter might offer you £2 a ticket or $2 a ticket, whatever. Well, you could get £10 at $10 a ticket and do it yourself,
Right.
So, and one thing that we've done in our last 2 gigs that we've put on ourselves is we've made sure that we've put young up-and-coming bands on with us to give them a platform and an opportunity to do that, because we never got that. So we're sort of, without trying to be Mother Teresa, we're trying to give back a little bit and give them a platform for our fans to listen to them and their fans to listen to us, and it works.
Yeah, well, that's the future. I mean, these I don't know, I don't know if it's like this in the UK, but I mean, there's this weird divide between like older musicians and like young musicians. They don't, and it's like you sound like an old man. You're like, this is just noise, and I don't understand what they're doing. And it's so weird to me. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I feel it. Like I think that like whenever I hear somebody young just doing something new and innovative, I just assume that's the next wave. I'm like, I just don't get it yet. Or I'm like, this is ahead of its time. This is brilliant.
Yeah, and if I don't get it, that doesn't mean, you're absolutely right. If I don't get it, that probably just means that I'm an old man. And that's all right.
Yeah.
I mean, like it.
Yeah, I mean, what's the alternative? We're all going to listen to 60-year-old rappers for the rest of our lives. Like, the new kids that are coming up have to be like, you have to like one of them has to be great, right? They can't all be bad,
Yeah, I mean, a prime example of that is I've got Fontaine's DC. I don't know if you've heard much of Fontaine.
They opened for Arctic Monkeys in Philadelphia. I saw them live.
Fontaine's,
DC Fontaine's is good.
Fontaine's for me, in terms of new bands and whatever that have come out recently, they're far and above everything else. Lyrically, composition, everything, you name it. My dad, for example, would like Oasis, and he's not a massive muso, but him, the frontman of Fontaine's, if he saw him being sort of, because he's a bit of a poet and he's a bit different, and sometimes he wear a kilt on stage, my dad wouldn't have a word of that. What do you mean you wear a kilt on stage? So you do get into these sort of quagmires of this is how we are, I'm stuck here and I'm just going to live like that. So absolutely not, no. That's not what I'm about.
Well, there's something you said earlier which I think is so important, and it only comes with being in the business for a while and being very just self-aware and intelligent and wise. You say, we're not going to do anything unless it's aligned with the BAM. And any good company, they have a business statement. You set 2 or 3 values. All right, we're going to be economically conscious, accepting and globally, whatever. Like Nike has its 4 things it does, and Google has its 4 things it does. And like I think even as artists, if we're going to be making hundreds of decisions a year, it's cool that we have those, 2 or 3 values. If you are going to work with an organization, like what are some of the things like you're looking for, whether it be a label, whether it be a promoter, like what are some of the signs that, hey, this is somebody I want to be working with?
Do you know what? You said 4 things, so I'll tell you, honesty 4 times. Just be honest about it. At the end of the day, you're a promoter or a label or whatever. You're a business, so you need to make money. There's no secret to that. You need to make money. So be honest about the fact you need to make money. You're putting the gig on. So if you're a promoter or a label, approach that band and say, look, the truth be told, I'm putting the gig on. The gig's costing me that much. This is my cut, but I'm going to do X, Y, and Z for that money. So I'm going to promote it. I'm going to share it with a list of maybe A&R people. I don't know. But do something for that money. Don't just put the show on and then the day before the show release a poster, say on Instagram saying this is the gig. That's poor. That's just
I could have done that.
That's robbing. That's the opposite of Robin Hood. That's just stealing from young, influential bands and lining your own pockets with it. That's not the way to do it. And I think maybe from my perspective, I've got more of an understanding nowadays, and then maybe I'm seeing the band as more business-like in certain respects. So the lads, myself and the lads were having a chat about gigs and things we've been offered recently, and I actually fought the promoter's corner on it and said to the lads, look, you've got to understand that they've got to make money as well. They're not doing it out of the goodness of the heart. Because if they were, then they'd be a registered charity. We'd do it ourselves. It doesn't make, or we'd do it ourselves. It doesn't make sense. So honesty is massive. I just think if more people were honest about why they're doing certain things, and if it's to make money, fine, just say that.
Right.
You know. Yeah. So honesty would be the key, and I don't think there's much more I'd look for.
Right. Yeah. You could go a very long way by just being somebody who does what you say you're going to do. Yeah.
And we will do that. If we say we're going to turn up and put on a good show, we'll do it. If we say that we're going to promote it and we're going to do loads of socials about it, we'll do that. Mm-hmm. You know, we will do whatever we say we're going to do. And if we don't, you know, we won't. And that's it. Yeah, just honesty. And I think that goes a long way.
Absolutely. Personally speaking, what is something, this is going to be a two-part question, right? What is something that you feel you do particularly well? And then what's a skill that you may want to refine?
Okay, so I think I'm a good front man. I know I'm a good front man. You know, it's difficult to say that. I think maybe that's a British thing, that we don't really want to say we're good at anything. You know,
no, I'm the same way. I can't take a compliment. I'm like the worst with that. If somebody gives me a compliment, I defer like right away.
Well, yeah, and I watch obviously American culture and TV and stuff's massive over here, and I watch Americans and they'll say like, "How are you?" And they're, "Oh, I'm amazing. Yeah, I'm great." We'll go, "Yeah, I'm all right." Could be worse. That's literally could be worse.
I'm killing it today.
Yeah, that's just like I'm not bad, you know. A really British way of looking at things. So I think, going back to your question, I'm a good front man. I know I am. I'm good at what I do. Might not be the best singer in the world, but I'm not here to be a singer. I'm here to be a front man of a band. Yeah. Songwriting is something I personally have got better at, and I'm getting better at. I'm not a prolific guitarist by any stretch of the imagination. I can play guitar, but I don't play on stage. The lads will have a good laugh about that one. I play to the lads and I'll send them ideas, and I'm getting better at that. Cool. From a band stance, content creation, without doubt. And it pains me this, because you can't just be a band anymore. You'll know this, and any musician listening to this will know that you've got to be a content creator and a band, which is frustrating, but we all have to be open and honest to the fact that is the world we live in. That's the reality.
Specifically, what do you think is your biggest barrier to it?
The cringe factor. Without a doubt, you know. Jeez.
That's like the first one. Then there's like an ocean, and then there's like the second one down. But like first, like that's everybody's just worried about being cringe.
Number one, you asked me to send me a headshot, and you've still not got it. Because
you're like, make a video. Like, I don't even have a picture of myself. You want me to make video?
Right. I took about 25 selfies, and I thought, no, that's not for me. So I don't know. I'll get my wife to take a picture in the back.
It's all right, man. But I told you I just grab one off your socials, man. You're all right. Man.
It is just totally cringe factor. And do you know one thing? And this is interesting now. There's two, and I'm not naming anyone. I'm not here to badmouth anyone, but there's two people on social media at the minute who are doing. And I'm not sure whether they're satire or not. I'm really not sure. They claim the musicians and they put music out there for sure, and they do shows. But it's I don't really understand what it is, and I don't understand why anyone would. No one's going. You know, I talked about getting emotional to music and stuff. No one's going to do that with that music. It's like I say, it's borderline satire, but because they've got a huge following on socials, because I think people these days are desperate to watch downfalls, and I think that stems from sort of, you know, Kardashians and the Osbournes and shows like that are now, it's all reality TV now. Those programs spawned everything that's on our TVs now, and I think people just love watching someone's downfall these days. You know, cancel culture and all that sort of stuff.
Right. Well, that's what they do. They want to watch like the hero narrative with their musician. They want to root for you on the way up. They want to see you crash. And then they want to watch your redemption story. Absolutely.
And that's why I wonder, some of these guys are doing okay at the minute, and, you know, they've got huge followings on social media, because I think people are waiting to see the downfall, not necessarily loving the music. And that's a strange one, because it's almost like rage bait, and I don't understand that either.
Yeah. Like rooting against artists, like people, like for instance, like on like American football here is huge. It's like church and American football, and so when Taylor Swift started dating Travis Kelce, everybody was like, Everybody was like, "What? They're paying too much attention to her at the NFL games and stuff." I don't know why the camera's always on Taylor Swift. I was like, dude, for the first time, we have this not first time, but there's this huge celebrity, good-looking, attractive girl who's dating one of the best players ever. You know what I mean? Like, there's room at the table for everybody. Why can't we all just enjoy the game together?
We had that
casual fans that are only watching for Taylor.
We had that in the early 2000s with David Beckham and Victoria Beckham.
Yeah,
exactly
right?
that. Word for word, we had that. That as a Man United fan, Beckham was playing for Man United at the time, and I was one of them saying, "Oh, she's turning his head. She's making him do this, that, and the other." She might have been. I don't know. But then he moved to Real Madrid, and it was sort of, oh well. You're waiting to watch his downfall. I suppose maybe we all do it in a way, but I think these days people are monetizing that, which is weird.
Yeah. It is odd, and it doesn't seem healthy either.
It's definitely not healthy. Social media in general is not healthy, is it? Let's face it.
No,
it really isn't. I fell into the trap of taking a picture of what I'm eating and putting it on social media. Like, would you stand on top of a building and showing, "I'm eating lasagna tonight"? It's mad, isn't it? When you think about it, you really drill down into what you're doing. On that. It's mad. It's a mad. But we all do it. Well, I do it for sure.
Yeah. Sure. Well, I think because we're old enough to remember a day without it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's like, I only started doing this when I was in my mid 20s. I was like, when I was 19, you know what I mean? I called my friends from a payphone and we all just played in the park.
Yeah. Yeah.
So the idea of documenting what I'm doing when I'm out still seems wild. Like at a concert, I can't see the people performing because there's 10 cell phones in the air.
Yeah.
Wild to me.
Yeah,
I'll never get used to it,
I can't.
And then I'll sneak mine up and get my quick picture too. So I'm still a hypocrite.
I'm that stubborn guy that takes a picture and starts like, right, that's it now, I'm not doing it again. Yeah. And then at the end, I think, I wish I had some videos to look over. And the thing is, the times when I've done that and I've recorded it, when do you ever look back at them? Ever?
No.
You don't?
Never.
So just enjoy the moment, and that's one big thing. Put your phones away and enjoy the moment.
Absolutely.
Because you can't say the things you will have at the end of all this mad race that we're in is your memories. You won't have your phone.
I was just going to say that too. I mean, that's kind of what life is. Fundamentally, you're just collecting memories, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you'll have the better memory if you're present. You know what I mean? Do you want to watch screens with pictures of an event, or do you want an actual memory?
No, I think that's one thing that's difficult about being a musician at the minute, because attention spans are so low at the minute. I mean, I did a bit of reading, because you have to sort of read up on these things, about the perfect Instagram reel. I mean, I can't believe I'm even saying these words, but something like 30 seconds, I think, no more than 30 seconds. Well, that to me says more about human beings than it does the platform. Yeah. Like, people will not watch anything or view anything because it's doom scrolling all day long. We all do it. Right. But so to get someone to sit and listen to an album is a tricky thing to do. And I was watching something with, it was an old interview, it was a while back, Noel Gallagher. And Noel Gallagher was sort of losing his mind because he was saying, these days, musicians get very little money for streaming, which we don't get any revenue from streaming. It's zero almost. Right. And he was saying, but it really pisses me off because people will go and spend easily over $10 a month on coffee. Mm-hmm. But they won't buy an album that's a physical thing that they can listen to time after time after time again, and from now until the end of time, and listen to, and they won't do that, and they won't spend money on music. Maybe that's Spotify's done that and there's no going back. So you've got to get involved in the content creation. And I think the way musicians make money now has changed. If you're a musician, years ago it was how many records have you sold? Now I think merch and shows around musicians make money. And potentially getting it maybe on a show, for example. Right. So and then
you springboard into endorsements once you get big enough.
That's it. Which all sickens me. I don't want to get involved in any of that. I just want to play shows. And don't get me wrong, that's where I'm at. I'll play shows every day of the week.
Yeah. Well, that's what's so funny. So as somebody who's seen the good, bad, and the ugly, and has now come out on the other side of it with a really good sense of self, having a ball playing with your friends, what do you tell the 15-year-old young Manchester guy with a guitar strapped to his back that's like, hey, Dean, I want to do what you do, man. What do I do?
Maybe just be unapologetically you. Just don't try to be someone you're not, like the trap I fell into. Don't try and, just because they're your musical heroes, don't try and be them, because that's corny. No one's going to buy into that. If you think a song's good enough, it is. You know, don't listen to anyone else, because I'm a stickler. I'm a nightmare for that, should I say. I'll send my friends every now and again, what do you think? What do you think? And if one of them says, I'm like, oh God, what do I do now? Whereas I know it's good enough. Just because one person has said it's not good enough, who cares? So that would be another one. So one of my heroes, Alec Ferguson, who was Manchester United manager, he once said, where there's doubt, there's no doubt. So if you doubt something, you're doubting it for a reason. So pull out. Or if you doubt in someone in your life and you think, they're a bit fishy, get rid. And I think that's a massive life lesson. If you listen to that, and if you're doubting, for example, going back to what was the answer to the question, if you're doubting a promoter, pull out. Just pull out. You're doubting them for a reason. Pull out. Yeah. Your gut's massive, and it's usually right.
Yeah, my I don't know if it's undefeated, but my gut has a great batting average.
Oh yeah,
like my gut has always been like, I was like, I knew it was wrong.
Yeah,
like I'm like fighting with myself. I was like, I knew it was wrong. Like I thought it was wrong years ago. And now,
your gut gets better as you get older. It gets bigger as well.
Yeah,
but it gets better for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. That's the thing about maturity too. It's like the time horizon on your decision making gets longer. You can think with more of a future ahead. I mean, when I'm 15, I'm like, all right, what are we going to do tonight? And then when I'm in my early 20s, it's like, all right, well, my decisions have to last me the rest of the week. then you become like a grown man, and you're like, all right, I really got to think about my future here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've got to think about the mortgage rate.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. I got to make decisions that are going to last a decade.
Yeah, absolutely.
So would you say, is there like an overarching message like in the band? Like was somebody's like, I like High Nines. I'm gonna start going to shows. I like the album. What message ideally would you want someone to take away from the music?
Whatever they want. Yeah. So there are some, like I say, there are songs that I know mean a hell of a lot to me. There's one in particular that there was a song, and there was a time in my life which was very, very, very tough. And I could never write about it, and I wanted to desperately, but every time I tried to, it was forced and it was corny, it wasn't right. And then Steve wrote a song, and it's out there. It's not on the album, but it's out there. Okay. Right. And that song was sort of, I listened to that and had an audience reaction to that. So I listened to that and was like, that is literally word for word what I wanted to write. That's what I want people. I'm not bothered how they take it, but so when that song to me, and I didn't write it, I sung on it, and it was difficult. There was a couple of moments where I had to start again because I was getting choked up. However, wherever the music takes them, own it, take it, use it for what you want. If that's your summer anthem that you party to, great. If that's a song that you breakup song, great. If that's a song that you go when you're really down in dumps and it lifts you, great. Whatever, And people do things in different ways. So I'm a bit of a weird one. If I'm down and I'm going through a bad time, you would think that you're automatically, I'll go to something that lifts me. I go and listen to Joy Division. Right. Crazy. But it's just something that sort of maybe I think, I don't know what it is. It's almost a sort of just ingrained in me to go and do that. Or it doesn't have to be Joy Division, something in that ilk. But I suppose one thing you will get when you listen to us and is we engage with our audience massively. So I mean, we've been on the website recently, and people are buying T-shirts from literally all over the world and buying LPs and stuff, and we're sort of going, "This is mad." Tonight after this, I'll go and load the dishwasher. I'm just a normal dude.
You're like, I'm just a guy. Yeah, I'm a dude. Yeah.
So that's wild. People are buying our music, and that'll never change. We'll always be us. So if we do make it and we get bigger than we are now, that'll never change. So no matter whether we're playing a stadium or we're playing a little intimate show, that you can always come have a chat with us. We're always going to be there to have conversations with people. We're never going to get above our own station. I think we would have years ago, without a doubt. I think I would have personally. I think I would have been one of those under 25 rock stars. Without a doubt.
Dark glasses, fur coats.
Oh, yeah, I would have been a mess. There's no doubt about it. I'd have been like walking around with like a Bengal tiger and stuff. No doubt in my mind.
Yeah, that's great. At least you're honest about it. At least you're self-aware.
Yeah, no doubt. I just would have tried
you and me both, man. I had my two tigers.
Yeah, no doubt.
flanked by a dozen
Yeah,
women. Yeah,
monkey on my shoulder and that. And
yeah, I'd be like, I want the whole rock star experience.
yeah. Don't get me wrong, I want it, but nowadays I'll
yeah.
know what to not do and what to do.
Sure.
But yeah. I suppose we're just going back to the honesty. I suppose that's what we are. I suppose we're just us now, you know. And we're not writing music for anyone. We're not writing music to try and be anyone. We just write a song and go, wow, yeah, that's good. We like that. So if I like it, people who like this type of music, we stand a good chance of them liking it as well. But interestingly, we wrote loads of songs and we're always constantly writing songs. And interestingly, one we sort of was looking at the different songs we write and we're going, hang on, that sounds like really dark and heavy and daydreaming. You can't put them on the same album. You can't possibly do that. So we've got a more almost transition plan, and this could change because it changes the more you write, and we might bin songs off, and songs that you think were great, you write better than, and then better than, and who knows. But at the minute, we're already writing album 2. We're pretty decent chunk into that. Tomorrow, I'm finalising the vocals on our next single, which I'm really excited about. But the week before that, I finalised the vocals on a song that was supposed to be the single, but then Steve wrote a better one. And this is the thing, you're always evolving. But at the minute, and this will change, no question about this, you've got album 1 that's almost quite poppy, really, quite mainstream and poppy. Album 2's a little bit heavier, and album 3's super heavy and pretty dark, really. But I would never discourage us from trying and experimenting with those sounds and sort of, I don't ever want anyone to say the High Nines do, you know, indie Britpop or they do, you know, I don't want that. You have to put something in your bio, and we put alt rock, but I even hate that because I've even thought about collaborating with rappers on songs and stuff like, you know, and female vocalists and all that sort of stuff. And I don't really care about pigeonholing. We'll just write whatever comes to us.
I got it. Well, talk to me real fast before I let you go about touring. Like, can we expect any shows stateside? If we want to connect with you, what's the best way to do that?
If you know anyone stateside that can put me on, I will be there in a heartbeat. I would love to play in the States. I mean, I've never been to the States.
No, really? We got to have you out.
I've gone to Mexico, pretty much flew over it, but never been.
Okay.
So it's definitely somewhere I want to go. I've always had this dream of doing Christmas in New York and then flying down to Vegas for New Year. I mean, that'd be insane.
Sure.
It'll never happen.
Yeah, man.
Unless people buy records.
There we go.
But yeah, so in terms of shows, just to touch on that, so we've got our biggest show to date actually, which is Manchester Academy 2. We're supporting a band called The Small Fortunes, and we've been really fortunate to get on that. I think the capacity is 950 to 1,000, something like that. And we're going to put absolutely everything into that show. Everything's being piled into that. In January, we're supporting a band called the Blue Tones, who were a huge band in the 90s. Huge band in the 90s, someone I grew up listening to, and we're supporting them. That's a huge gig as well for us. And then we have got other things that in due course we'll announce, but we can't at the minute because obviously all our
nice.
But in terms of how you can get us, we've got the website, thehighnines.co.uk, social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook,
good,
X, all that sort of stuff. And stream the music on Spotify. And please, if you do listen to this and you do listen to music, let me know. Let us know what you think of it. If you don't, if anyone's listening to it and they want to, you know, send us a DM or whatever saying this is what I thought, great. Please do that because that's the whole point. If it was making it for us, then we'd never release it. I'm making it for other people, so I'm desperate to know what other people think of it.
I love that, man.
So please let us know. Yeah.
Well, you guys are, I mean, you're top tier musicians. The music is brilliant. You are just a quality individual, and I can't thank you enough for spending this time with me and let my listeners take a peek at some great music from across the ocean. So thank you so much.
It's been really good to talk about not just music, because it isn't just music, is it? Music isn't just music, it's emotions and all the things that come with it. So it's been nice. But thanks again. Really appreciate it. We'll do it again. 100% we'll do it again.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. And the rest of you, thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked what you saw here today, please make sure you check in with the High Nines. The music's great. Let Dean know what songs that you like. And if you like what you heard here today and you like hanging out with us on Loves Music, please tell somebody who loves music. Take care of yourselves.